Okay, we're going
to moderate some of these questions?
We certainly are. We're going to have the question and answer. This is time you get to ask your question and not be embarrassed about it. Okay? And well, the kind of rules are that one person at a time speak. We're going to do it classroom style, so just raise your hand. Stand up when you ask your question so everybody can hear it. And then we'll let Roger answer it. And then we can have a rebuttal. But then we're going to give other people a chance so one person doesn't dominate all of the questions. Is that fair? Okay. Yes, sir.
You want us to ID ourselves?
You can.
I'm Bryce Moreland. Mr. Villere, as Lieutenant Governor, how are you going to leverage the power of that office to affect something of the magnitude of repealing the income tax when it's the legislature that you have to affect, when the office of the governor frequently can't move that body of people? What makes you confident that you can leverage the power of that office to achieve a goal that big?
Well, throughout my history and throughout my time as being active in politics, I have helped elect and unelect a lot of people. So people know my history. They know if I come and talk to them and tell them I need something passed or I need to try and stop legislation, I can have an effect. As Lieutenant Governor, statewide elected official, you have the bully pulpit of being a statewide elected official. I can go to meetings. I can talk in favor of legislation. I can talk against legislation. What I would like to do, like I said earlier, is have a citizen commission come up with the ideas on what we can cut and why it should be cut. And then let's bring that forward and let's move forward. So I would have the bully pulpit of being a statewide elected official, as well as knowing and working with most of these state elected officials that are in there now. Republican and Democrat and Independents. I know them all. I've worked with them, for them, and against them. And so they understand me, and they understand that if I go push some buttons, it's going to affect them. So I would be willing to use that bully pulpit to get that passed. And I will be there. Now I'm going to need help. Y'all have to come there and help me.
Yes, Joyce.
Well, I think the idea of no state tax is shocking to the average person. I know it was when you first mentioned it to me. So as the Tea Parties, we would need some facts that are succinct that we can send to our members so they can understand that it can be repealed. But in addition, how can we say that the property taxes won't go up? Because I know property taxes in Texas are extremely high. So what's the counterbalance there?
The counterbalance is we need to quit spending the money.
I know that.
And that's why you can't do one without the other. We have to have a commission to look at cutting expenses. We don't have an income problem. We have a spending problem. It's a huge problem in this state, as it is in a lot of states, spending problem. But we need to do like governors like Chris Christie were doing. I'll not be governor, I'll be a lieutenant governor, but I can work in a lieutenant governor's office to help push our governor to cut things. You know, a lot of times he's pushed not to cut, and it's easier not to cut. You try and work with legislators. I can help him. You know, sometimes you need a good guy, bad guy. I can be that bad guy that goes, look, we need to make this cut. It has to be done, and you have to work on it. Now, we need to know exactly where to make the cuts. But some of the things we can do and some of the reasons that it's possible, our budget has been growing at this fast rate. You can see just since 2000, it's more than doubled. Traditionally, since the 1970s, we've tripled about every 13 years. Our budget has tripled. That's mind-boggling. I don't think many of us, our salaries have tripled every 13 years. Think about that. Yet the budget in this state has tripled. We get a lot of income from a lot of different areas. We have a lot of sales tax. We have a lot of gasoline tax. We have all types of taxes. We make oil revenues. They have discovered a lot of new oil things. We have problems now with the offshore moratorium. We need to get rid of that. We need to work with our federal elected officials. I know most of those people. I can work with them. I'm willing to go to Washington. I know a lot of our national elected officials in other states because having been state chairman, working with other state chairmen around the country, I have access and ability to go work with these people. So we can work on those areas. So we have to slow down the growth. It's got to be done. We have to look where we can cut. You have to make some cuts. One of the things that would happen, I believe, if we were able to get rid of it, I believe in supply side economics. I believe that if we got rid of these taxes, a lot of our sons and daughters, a lot of our grandkids and nieces and nephews that have left would look to come back to Louisiana. I think a lot of our businesses that are right now stagnant, they're afraid to invest their money. They're afraid to take dollars and put it in growing their businesses in Louisiana because they don't know what the economy is going to be. We get rid of this owner's income tax. They're going to take the money they saving from that. They're not going to stick it and hide it in a bank or stick it in the ground in a can. They're going to put it back in their business, and they're going to make their business grow. Then they can hire more people. So we're going to create more income by bringing people to Louisiana. We have a great state. We need to promote our great state. We have a lot of opportunities. Lieutenant Governor is in charge of culture, recreation, and tourism. We need to promote the great tourism all over the state of Louisiana, and we can create new opportunities for income, new opportunities for business. So we can grow our economy and create actually more dollars. So we're going to be creating income at the same time we're looking to cut out income, and we actually could grow. And you know, this is not unprecedented to get our legislature to vote to get rid of this. Back in 2008, our state Senate voted 38-0 to get rid of the state income tax over a 10-year period. Did y'all know that? Anybody? No, they didn't know that, but they did that. So you can go back and check the voting on that. You can check 38-0. They had we were missing one of our state senators was absent that day, so it wasn't 39-0. It was 38-0 to get rid of it. Now we got a lot of support in the House. We couldn't get enough people to go along with it. It was one of the last days of the legislature, and we were able to push that through. But we can do this working together. The Tea Parties of Louisiana, all of them working together. We can get involved. We have to start a grassroots effort. We have to work. And with your help, we can do this. I'm willing to lead the charge. I know how to press the right buttons. It's going to make a lot of people upset. A lot of people are going to be mad. But in the long run, we're going to be better off. Some of these politicians are going to be exposed for the amount of pork and waste they've been supporting all these years. Some of the people in this race are upset that we're bringing up their history and how they voted. That's their problem. They have to vote record. They have to live with it. We got a couple back here.
Yeah. I'm Jerry Ormore. Roger, thank you for being here tonight. In the last two legislative sessions, there was a resolution to create a constitutional convention for Louisiana. And I'd like to know whether you're in favor of that. The main reason is that we have so many things that we cannot cut in the budget, that they're protected in the Constitution. As a result, two things get cut: health care, and most damaging is education, both higher education and K-12. So I'm going to sit down and listen to your answer, but would you be in favor of a constitutional convention?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't mind a constitutional convention if it didn't include our legislators. If it was just citizens, I would be in favor of it. If we're going to put the legislators in charge of that, it's like, putting the fox to guard the hen house. You can't do it. But second of all, that's really not true that a lot of it is protected by, well, some of it is, a lot of it is, but not the majority. A lot of people think everything is protected by the Constitution. A lot of it is protected by statute. They could vote those statutes out, Jerry. They want to hide and say, oh, it's protected by the Constitution. It's protected by statute. They could vote to undo the statutes and then allow it to be in the general budget. They don't want to do that. They want to say, oh, you can't touch it because it's in the Constitution. A big chunk of it is not in the Constitution. But if we want to have a constitutional convention, as long as the legislature wasn't members of it, didn't make up for it, the last 2 or 3 times they talked about doing that, I fought it because they wanted to make 100% of the constitutional convention only legislators. And I don't think they should be involved at all if we're going to do that.
Yes, sir. Roger, Paul Sack, Corporate Battery. I have a question. I want to get back to your relationship or how you see that working and where Governor Bobby falls on this. It seems to me that you could be good leadership for Governor Bobby because he could look at the model of Chris Christie, et cetera, and climb on board like cover. How do you see that working out?
I can tell you, I've been a friend of Governor Jindal. We were one of his first supporters. I support him today. I work with him. I work with him on legislation. I work with him to help build the party. I work with him to get his legislation passed. So I'm going to be continue to be a good friend of the governor, and I think the governor would be happy with things that we would do, because it would leave our state forward, and I'm sure he would be glad to take the credit. I'm not looking for credit on this. I'm just looking to help my state out. It's important to me. I love Louisiana. My family's been in this state. If you count my kids and grandkids, 9 generations. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to the future. My grandkids, I would like to have this a great place for them. So I'm a good supporter of the governor, and I'm sure he'd like this.